How's it going, guys? Welcome back into another video, and today is another movie review. We are back with another movie review today. First one since The Batman, and yeah, we're talking about the newest film from Pixar. Today we are talking about Turning Red. Very interested to talk about this one today. See what you guys think, because this has been a highly divisive film to come out so far this year. So I'm very interested to see your guys' thoughts. So go down below in the comments and let me know before we get started. What did you think of Turning Red? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know why this came out on Disney Plus today, the day that I'm recording this. So y'all can go see it. Y'all can go check it out if you would like, and let me know down below in the comments. But without further ado, let's get into my review, what I personally think about the movie. I enjoyed it. I was skeptical going in, didn't know what to expect, was like, okay, let's just get it out of the way, let's just watch it, but ended up enjoying myself for the most part. And I think the main thing that's done well here is the writing, which we'll get into in a second. But I mean, of course, with Pixar, Disney animation, anything under that flag, you know you're going to get the beautiful and gorgeous, stunning animation. I mean, this is beautifully animated. There's certain sequences in here that look incredibly real, and it's Pixar. What do you expect? I mean, there's just really not much more to say than it is a beautiful animated film. But let's get into the story. Let's get into the writing, because that's, I think, where a lot of the kind of divisiveness comes from. I think overall the writing is fine. This is probably the boldest that Pixar has gotten in their writing. It's tackling probably the most mature subjects, more out front than any film that Pixar has done before. This tackles, puberty and our main character May becoming her own through puberty and growing up. And I think, obviously, I can't give my critiques on that front, because I haven't gone through the things that May is going through, but I think that the way they kind of handle that writing, I think overall was pretty good. And I think a lot of the critics that I follow that are women that have reviewed it have tended to agree that it works well and that it's written fairly well. So that, I've done a lot of research on that front to see how a lot of my female colleagues have thought about this movie before I gave my own critique. The thing I like a lot about this film is it's definitely got the really nice coming-of-age vibes. I think that it's very effectively written coming-of-age story revolving around May and her mother. And the thing that I like at the core of this story is that mother-daughter relationship. I think it's very well written. I know that there are some people that don't love that aspect of the film, but for me, it worked well, because when you look at it, it is a mother so protective of her daughter, and we're kind of seeing the sins of the past. Her mother has turned in to what her grandmother was to her mother. And we get to this end of the movie with the revelations and the kind of conclusions to this arc, and I'm going to do my best to not spoil it, but I think it's a very interesting dynamic that May and her mother are going throughout the film. It's a bit ridiculous at times. I'll get into that in the negative. But I think at the core, it is a very nicely written, very emotional mother-daughter story / coming-of-age story about May growing up and going through puberty. I think overall that really is kind of the biggest thing for me. Because it is a relatively cut and dry film. This is not the most ambitious film that Pixar has ever done. It is dealing with a smaller topic. It is still a big topic, but it's smaller than like the scale of an Inside Out or a Soul, where it's dealing with like, what is the meaning of life? But I still think it effectively gets the point across that it's trying to get across, while clunky at times, while not always very savory at times, and at times pretty on the nose. I think overall it accomplished what it wanted to accomplish. I think there's a lot of really emotional moments in here. It's Pixar. That is what it is. And the third act, I don't know how I feel about it. While watching the movie, I was really into it. While I let the movie sit, I'm like, kind of was that third act. It was interesting, and I can't really talk about it without spoiling it, so I'm not going to, but I'm kind of on the edge of, do I like the third act? Do I not really like the third act? I don't know. I am trying to still come around to that. But in the end, I think it's a solidly written film that has some issues, that is beautifully animated. I think the voice cast performances are good. I wasn't really sure what I was expecting, but I think that they are very well done. Direction's good. I think it does what it sets out to do, and it does it effectively and in a very interesting way. Negatives, like I said, the writing. I didn't love how the characters were written completely. I think May's mother, while I understand what they were trying to go for with the helicopter parent, I feel like it was not even on the nose, but it was like in your face, like smothering you in your face. And I understand the concept of a helicopter parent, and I understand why she's doing what she's doing, because she loves her daughter. She wants to protect her daughter at all costs, make sure that her daughter is safe. And I can understand that, but like, it was ridiculous at times. And I was like, what are we doing here? But again, I can understand like the concept of like a helicopter parent wanting to make sure that their kid is safe and sound, especially with the panda stuff, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I found that a little jarring at times. Not necessarily bad, but definitely jarring. I think that May, she's a very unlikable character for a lot of this movie, which is hard because you want to root for her as she's going through her journey. And at the end, you find a way to root for her. And I think that that's something that that Pixar and the writers redeem themselves in, is that she is pretty insufferable for the first half of the movie, and very unlikable. But when we do reach that kind of conclusion and kind of revelation of what she wants, she redeems herself. And I can respect that, yes, they faltered at the beginning, but were able to pick it back up and fix it by the end. But still, it was hard to get invested in a character that for the first half of the movie is pretty unlikable. But overall, I think they redeemed her arc in the end, and I am still torn on whether or not I like that third act. It's going to take me a while to really figure it out, but we'll see. Might I also add, the music is bumping. I was a big, big fan of NSYNC, kind of like the early 2000s boy bands. Like that was my crap. I loved that. Like that was just awesome. And this is they nailed that. They nailed it. Like they nailed that kind of hysteria and like that kind of just ultra fandom craziness that was like the boy band era of the early 2000s. It's absolutely awesome. And the music's bumping. Jordan Fisher, shout out, did like the music for this and was like the main lead singer of Four Town. I mean, it's a fun movie. I mean, it is. And I think the music and score work together really well. And overall, there's a lot of redeeming factors about it. And it was, in the end, a pretty fun time. There's just a few issues I have with some of the writing, but in the end, it was pretty good. All right. Let's get into the point breakdown. I gave writing 12 out of 15. Overall, I think the writing is pretty good. I think there are some issues that I have with it, but overall, it is not that bad. Performances 13 out of 15. I think they were good. They were very serviceable. Entertainment 8 out of 10. I gave direction 8 out of 10. Emotion, I also gave 8 out of 10. Cinematography 5 out of 5. I will kind of tie that in with the animation here. It's a beautifully shot movie, and I think like the shots that they get with the animation are incredibly beautiful. Score 5 out of 5. I really liked the score. I did. score mixed with the soundtrack, like, I really enjoyed. Pacing 4 out of 5. I gave the technical, which is composed of editing, set design, sound design, visual effects, and costume design. I gave 11 out of 15. Rewatchability 3 out of 5, and an automatic 5 out of 5 points, which means if you did the math, I gave Turning Red an 82 out of 100. A very serviceable Pixar film. It's not the best. It's definitely not the worst. There are some issues I have with the writing, but in the end, relatively solid project from Pixar. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of Turning Red? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know why. Go watch it on Disney+. Go back into the comments. Let me know. Would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already. We're still trying to build this community, even though we have already passed 1,000 subscribers. We are trying to continue to build the community. I really do appreciate you guys. Have a rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.